Hello and welcome to episode 169 of Mythos Busters, live on our Twitch stream. Thank you. That's Scott.
Hello.
How's it going?
I had to take that shot. That's
yeah.
required by internet law.
It is true. It is true. Yeah, you did your duty. We've got Ian as well.
I'm here.
What's up, Ian?
Hello.
And we've got Justin.
Ew.
And we're all discernibly equal Star Wars fans. No need to form a hierarchy. We don't need any of that strain on the friendship.
Yeah. There's no we can all admit that Star Wars is our favorite sci-fi universe and we're all equally fans.
It's true. Yeah.
No
no
the
other
funny
property
part is we're already on a tangent, but there was a period in my youth where I would say Star Trek and Star Wars were equal for me. So I think there's a parallel universe out there where
but when did Star Wars pull ahead?
I'm done. I'm out of here.
Thanks for coming for episode 169. But anyway, we're coming to you live on our Twitch channel, and you'll probably hear the recorded version of this on the regular podcast RSS. We are post BusterCon, and we've got some fun picks from our vacation to sit you down and forcibly slideshow to you. So welcome. That's mostly what we'll be doing tonight. Beyond that, we actually are finally going to get caught up on the the Mythos Buster hotline, because with all of the BusterCon, Iron Man, just all the stuff we've had going on, we've actually built up a little bit of a bank of voicemails, which is pretty cool. So we're going to pound through those as well. And then of course we'll round it out with a little bit of Tentacle time. But yeah, so trying to think here. Do we just want to hop right into voicemails? I'm going to knock that out.
Probably a good idea. I mean, if we say, what have you been playing lately? BusterCon is the answer. So
we'll do that. We'll do that in the meat of the episode, to be clear. Okay, so if anyone's wondering how much we just like nose laugh at each other, now you'll get to see it live. All right, so our first voicemail comes from Calica. Oop, I have it on mute. Let's try that again.
Long-time listener, first-time caller. You can find me as Calica on the Discord, and you might know me from the one article I wrote about Grizzled on my Miskatonic Malcontents blog years ago that you indirectly mentioned in your Silver Bullets episode and Scarlet Keys Survivor card review. Sidebar. For anyone who wants to know about what Grizzled traits to choose for each campaign, reminder that exists as a resource. Search for Grizzled Review, Miskatonic Malcontents. It's not up to date with Scarlet Keys and Hemlock, but, having a baby and toddler takes a lot of time. Maybe I'll get around to it someday. Anyway, back to the reason for my call. I have a silver bullet that I wanted to mention for multiple campaigns. It's an investigator, though, but it's Kaimani Jones. Kaimani is probably my favorite investigator, and that's as someone who just likes rogues in general. Sorry. In particular, I think Kaimani has great uses in the Forgotten Age, and also has good applications in Dream Eaters and Edge of the Earth. Probably others too. The main reason is their ability to discard enemies gets around effects that punish players for defeating enemies or dealing damage to them. In TFA, that's a great way to actually get rid of all the vengeance enemies without killing them. It's no longer, I wish these enemies would go away, but I can't kill them. Kaimani just practically ignores the vengeance mechanic. Further, they are good for Dream Eaters since, as you discussed in your last episode, discard abilities can take out whole stacks of swarming enemies. In Edge of the Earth, there's Eidolons like the Primordial Evil or Skittering Nonsense that punish you for damaging or defeating them, which again, Kaimani ignores. Their ability will apply to any other cards that punish you for damage or defeating them, but those are the two main examples off the top of my head. And I just have one final note as an honorable mention as Silver Bullet. I love playing Zoe in Dream Eaters because she gets very rich very quickly. Anyways, thanks for a great show. Keep up the great work. Maybe I'll make it down to BusterCon one day. Thanks.
All right. Well, Caliga, great minds think alike. I had not listened to this voicemail yet, but I can confirm Kaimani has quickly become my favorite rogue. They edged out Winnie. I do still love me some Winnie, but I don't know. I had a great time most of the time playing Edge. Kaimani through Edge. That was not Kaimani's fault. Edge was just being a dick.
Kaimani, edge of the earth out, Winnie.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're gonna count those tonight. That's one Edge joke.
I also watching you play Kaimani was a treat at BusterCon. Yeah, Kaimani is pretty great.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, great examples of how they're a silver bullet for multiple campaigns. And yeah, shout out again to that article about Grizzled. It's a lot of stats, but man, that is quite the resource to have.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's Miskatonic Malcontents. Again, so check that out. But yeah, I mean, like just having your investigator's ability be the answer for all the different ways enemies punish you for actually defeating them. So good. So good.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. Has anyone figured out anything anything weird or cool to do with their tool access? Like, we have more tools now that Wilson's out. Is there anything cool to do with Kaimani?
Not really. I feel like my Kaimani decks are always just pretty much green.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of felt like I was wasting, deck building space, but I just couldn't find a use for any tools.
That's such a trap with some investigators. Like even the Dunwich splash. Like the amount of times where I'm like, oh, I'm not using my whole splash, but I'm like,
well, what would I put
in?
I
think this is the best way to go, right? Like I don't need
like you feel like you have to include.
Yeah, like my super blessed Zoe murder bless deck, whatever I called it. That one I think I only used 2 or 3 splash slots, and it feels so bad. But I'm like, the best cards for her are blue, so
yeah,
and there's 30 of them.
Yeah,
there sure are,
and they're good, which makes a good deck. So,
Ian, where does Kaimani rank on your rogues gallery?
Whew. I haven't done a recent actual ranking, even in my head, but pretty high up there. Like, not in any particular order. I think my faves would be Finn still, Alessandra, Tony might make it up there. I feel like I play a lot of Tony these days. That would probably be the 4, I think.
Okay. Excellent. Also, just quick point of interest. We'll get to it, but Fox Mask, significantly better than I thought it was in multiplayer. I stand by what I have said about it in the past in low player counts, but in multiplayer, that shit was firing all the time.
The amount of extra tokens you got on Fox Mask was out of control.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Righteous. Okay, well, we'll get to more Kaimani love later, but let's move on to the next voicemail. And this one's from Jadim Jedi.
Hi there, this is Jadim Jedi. I'm responding to your question about the best investigators dream team. For me, it's Luke Robinson and Sefina Rousseau. So when I think about what both of those bring to the table, Luke is able to kind of do whatever he wants. Obviously, he's got the gate box that does some crazy, silly things, and his ability to just use events wherever. He's got good defensive stats as well, and just his overall efficiency is okay, especially when you add in the gate boxes like a free move, so it's quote compression. And he can just kind of flex to do whatever. So overall, no matter what campaign you're going against, his defense is good. And similar with Sefina, again, her defense is good. She's got all the rogue stuff for built-in compression. She gets the extra cards for opening hand. She also has extra options for her painted world, so you can use that as sort of a mini tutor to play certain events multiple times over the mission for whatever your team happens to need. And both of them can just kind of handle whatever gets thrown at them and go basically solo. Again, they're pretty flexy and you can kind of build them to do whatever they want. In my mind, the 2 hardest campaigns are TCU and TFA. So having good defensive stats is important for both of those, and being able to move around big maps is important. And of course, purple card access, Mystic access gives you Ward of Protection and Delve, so that you can defend yourself from all those ancient evils, and you can level up more experience with Delve and get all the fun toys. So that's why whenever I have a bad time, I go back to those two characters.
Do you think we'll ever bring Delve back into an Iron Man scenario, or do we take it too seriously now?
I mean, I think we could have in Edge if we wanted to.
Yeah, and we probably would have been fine, at least in the early scenarios.
Luckily, I feel like the campaigns have gotten better about just ample XP for the most part.
Yeah, I think Dunwich and Carcosa kind of, I don't want to say required Delve, but they may have required Delve.
I would hesitate to say, I posit that Delve enacted a tax on the way scenarios and campaigns were designed at the time. And they kind of course corrected, which I'm super fine with. That's 2 extra deck slots I get.
I think us pointing out to Maxine when we were, was it Dunwich or Carcosa? I think it might have been Carcosa, pointing at our victory display with like 6 Delves in it. I remember her just shaking her head and just walking away, and I'm like, uh-oh. Uh-oh.
You pushed us to this!
What have we done? What have you done?
Yeah, but anyway, so yes, that's a good dream combo. I like that. And I like that everyone I've heard answer this question has a kind of a different take and a different pair.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. I'm still not sure who mine is. I think Roland and Agnes is probably the one that I have gone back to the most. They're a pretty good power duo.
I think my favorite story duo is Skids and Daisy.
Of course, yes.
They're
the one you get angry from and then go back to. Your dream pair.
Why can't I quit you?
Canon pair at this point.
Truly.
Yeah. I always go back to Zoe. Wendy is my get mad at Arkham combo, but the one I should really go back to is Rita Ursula, because I remember back in the day I did that pair through when we were prepping for TFA Iron Man, and they were blasting through TFA, so I need to revisit that. They're just, those two are just pretty insane together.
Did you have a nickname for that pairing, like the Skedaddle Sisters? Something like that?
No, but I will come up with one now.
All right, excellent. And now we've got one from Schultze.
Hello, Schultze here. Oftentimes when Sean plugs the Mythos Busters hotline, I hear in his voice a desire, no, a longing for vindication. So everyone, call the Mythos Busters hotline at 203-493-MYTH. That is 203-493-6984.
You got the...
and now that we've got that plug out of the way, I can't think of any player card that has evolved more because of the surrounding card pool than Fine Clothes recently has. Alessandra, her massive suite of parlay cards, and the most parlay-heavy campaign to date have been out for about 6 months. So pretend that you guys are opening Fine Clothes out of a good old-fashioned Mythos pack and give us a card review of it in light of how the game has changed around it. Good luck in Iron Man. Have an excellent
day. So we just got the brand new preview card. Fine Clothes.
Fine Clothes. Gotta change everything.
Honestly, if that was printed now, given the game as it has evolved, my first reaction would be they printed this. Like it's just a one drop, like smooth out of parlay. Like I think it's campaign dependent because some campaigns need it more than others, but it's really good.
I mean, I've still used it just as the 1-in-1 soak.
Yeah.
Like it's so efficient for soak, and depending on the investigator, there's a lot of times the body slot is not highly contended. Like, it just, yeah.
Aw, thanks, Schultze. Good looking Iron Man. If only you knew.
Yeah, it's funny because the parlay action is, it's one of the basic actions of the game. It was around from the beginning, but it was a little bit of an afterthought. Just because the game was so new, they were trying to like figure out what to do with this like part of the game space that's a little weird, like talking to things when you're dealing with monsters. But I like the direction they've gone, where they've like, instead of like feeling like they have to follow the lore so closely of like, oh, you can't talk to a Shogoth, that's dumb, you can't parlay with this or that. Like, a lot of the taboo they've done to parlay cards are, they got rid of the humanoid requirement. You can I think it's just more a fun experience when you open up the space. So
Fully agree.
that obviously gives you more stuff to do with fine clothes as well.
I mean, if you want to play a charisma build, it doesn't feel good that like half or more of the enemies in the game are immune to it. So I fully agree that that's one of the better things that Taboo could have done for those sorts of cards was to just eschew. Yeah, it's abstracted. Where we can parlay with monsters, believe it or not.
And maybe parlay isn't like exactly talking. It could be like a physical parlay, like a I don't know.
Like scratch them behind
the gesture.
Scratch them behind the ear and tell them they're a good boy.
Exactly.
You're wooing the monster somehow. Yeah.
Tickle the tentacle.
But
oh boy,
I'll be interested. That just hit my brain. I'll be interested because I know that Leveled Up Fine Clothes was an online card council thing, and I know I can't even remember what it was, but I remember thinking like, oh, that's going to get cleaned up in playtesting. That's a little busy, so we'll see. We will see when eventually it drops. Either of you guys remember? No.
Like, it was something about putting an ally into play, I think. Searching for an ally.
Yeah, like searching for an ally.
Yeah. Which I think would be cool. Yeah, it just have to be balanced, I think. I don't remember exactly what it was.
It's basically just make it a Charlie card.
Yeah. He's got all the fine clothes.
That's right.
I think I found it. Fine clothes, that's 3 experience. Reduce the difficulty of skill tests you perform during parlay actions by 2. Action, exhaust fine clothes. Parlay, choose an enemy at your location and test your lowest skill X, where X is that enemy's printed health. If you succeed, choose an ally in your hand with cost X or less and play it, ignoring its cost. And it's still 1 and 1.
I stand by my take. I think that's going to get chopped up a little bit.
Probably.
I would agree because I was reading that and could not track it.
I mean, that one would be. It could be quite good in the what do you call them, the quadruple 3 investigators.
Yeah, the
if you plan for
perfectly balanced ones.
Yeah.
Yeah, interesting.
I think the other thing, if fine clothes dropped right now, I would look at it and probably realize it's a mannequin in the art.
Yeah, okay.
Oh,
we can talk
yeah,
about that
right.
for a
Yep.
minute.
All these years, how did that even come up, Sean? Because I remember being like, I've always thought it was just this weird abstracted art, and then someone mentioned it at BusterCon.
Yeah, and I can't remember if it was before or after I was talking about suggestion, because that one dawned on me too. But like I've been making the joke for years that card was rendered in Last Engine's art, or with the Last Generation's engine, and it makes so much more sense that it is meant to look like a mannequin.
You just could see us both getting our mind blown at the same time.
I was 2 weeks ago old when I learned that it's a mannequin. And also,
well, yeah, I was gonna say suggestion.
And also suggestion.
Yeah.
Also suggestion, which was like my secret Kaimani silver bullet for my build for Edge of the Earth. That is a man. That is not. That is a marionette in that art.
Mhm.
That is not just a regular investigator. I always thought it looked a little wonky, but like when you actually look at it close, it looks a little wonky because it's a marionette, and the art's significantly better once you realize that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, before we were clamoring for the ghost investigator because is it Stand Together?
Yeah.
But now we need the mannequin investigator.
The mannequin, the marionette, and the ghost.
Yeah, mannequin with like a marionette signature ally. There you go.
It's all just in a
Solved it.
1920s Pinocchio theme expansion.
I'd watch 3 seasons of this easily.
Yep.
All right, so thanks to those who have called, and let's move on to the last little bit. So we have a slew of puzzly voicemails here. I'm going to play them in the order that we received them in, and we'll see if we can figure them out. And boys, I'm counting on you to be quickly pulling up cards in the background here because
Give me 1 second to get a piece of paper. Hold on.
I'm a little bit limited in my ability to manipulate my web browser because I've got the slideshow for the stuff. All right,
I'm ready.
Here we go.
Are you listening? Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A, Guardian Cards, TVL 18 and 148, PTC 22 and 106, TDE 20, 157, 196, and 2, 3, 4, EOTE 21, TISC 1, and ISD 10 and 18.
Well,
That was so many. I
it was a
stopped
lot.
being able to follow.
Yeah. So here,
I did not get them all written down.
I'll run it through and pause as we go here.
Are you listening?
So we got
Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A,
Riddles and Rain, Agenda
Guardian
3A.
Cards, TVL,
Guardian Cards, TDL, which I assume is the Dunwich Legacy,
18,
18,
and 148,
and 148.
PTC,
PTC 22. Pat the Carcosa, right?
Yep.
and 106.
And 106.
TDE,
TDE. Oh, the Dream Meters. TDE.
20, 157,
Oh, God. I already lost it. TDE.
3, 4, EOTE 21, 06, TDE 20, 157,
TDE 20 and 157.
196,
196
and 2, 3, 4, EOTE
and 2, 3, 4.
21,
Edge of the Earth 21.
1, and ISD 10,
Scarlet Keys what 1?
and ISD 10, TISC 1,
Scarlet Keys 1.
and ISD 10, and 18.
And ISD. What was ISD? IFD? What am I missing there?
ISD. I have
21.
no idea what ISD is.
TISC 1, and ISD 10, and 18.
I'm looking up ISN.
ISD
No.
10 and 18. So, full disclosure, while we puzzle through this for a moment, we've got ISD Imperial Star Destroyer. Yep,
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
exactly what that
Well, that's
was.
what I thought too. Yeah. That's the first ISD. Everyone knows what that is.
So is there a standalone with those initials? I'm trying to think through them.
Investigator Starter Decks.
Oh, Investigator Starter Decks.
Oh, there we go.
Okay. All right. So what? So Riddles and Rain Agenda 3A. I have looked at that because someone pointed us at that before, if I'm remembering correctly, and it's just an agenda with no game text, and it's 3A specifically, so it's just the front side. So like, is it just the title? Are we supposed to look at the title? What is the title?
The connection. Is that the hint?
Possibly.
These things are all connected?
Quite possibly. Quite possibly.
Okay, so Dunwich. Player cards.
Yeah, so 18 is teamwork and 148 is stand together.
Okay.
So got a little bit of a theme going on.
Mm-hmm.
Arcosa 22 is Let Me Handle This.
Okay.
Mm.
So we're looking at pretty intense teamwork cards here.
And then 106. 106 doesn't exist? Goes to 105.
I think it's in Echoes of the Past,
Agenda
Heroic
3A.
Rescue.
Oh, that would be the...
Okay, and Heroic Rescue is another thing that lets you pull an enemy
Yeah.
off. And okay, so we're...
So Dream Eaters, 20. Oh, geez, there's a lot of them.
20 is Solemn Vow.
Okay. These ways to juice Calvin up quickly. Nailed it.
157 is Self-Sacrifice.
Okay.
Are these all just like...
196 is Safeguard.
Okay.
Okay.
It's just Carson's kit. Is this a Carson deck? Did someone just share their Carson deck?
134 is Heroic Rescue level 2.
Okay.
I think Carson is TSK1
Okay.
if you are in the investigator set.
Okay.
And then Edge of the Earth 21.
Is this a teamwork stand together? Let me handle this Heroic Rescue. It's a Carson deck?
Edge of the Earth 21 is Get Behind Me.
It's all the tank cards is what I'm seeing. Like they're all cards that
Yeah.
interact directly with another. Oh, are these just all the cards that like you need another player in the game to get the bonus from? Is that what it is?
Oh, I bet you that's it.
Oh, yeah.
Like if you play any of these solo, they're trash. They're non-bow with solo.
They're non-bows
Yeah,
with
these
solo.
are probably all...
They're no low.
No low.
Yep.
It could be like in one of our episodes said, oh, what are the cards that are like multiplayer only or something?
Yeah.
Okay. I feel pretty good about that
I
one.
think that's what it is. Yeah.
I feel pretty good about
We
that
did it. We cracked the case.
All right, cool. There's 4 more of these.
All right. This next one looks shorter, so.
All right. Start number 2.
Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A.
Riddles and Rain Agenda 3A. So I think that's, you know, that's the equivalent of doing this in charades, right? Like, or sounds like, or whatever. Anyway.
Rogue cards, TFA 28.
Rogue cards, Forgotten Age 28.
TCU 319.
Circle Undone 139.
EOTE 51.
Edge of the Earth 51.
FHV 72. ISD 30.
Oh, okay. Hang on. Sorry, I lost it.
51. FHV 72.
FHV 72.
ISD 30.
And ISD 30. 30 for those paying attention. Enhance.
All right. TFA 28 is you handle this one.
Okay. Oh. I think I see the theme.
Oh, is this the opposite of? It's all the cards you need at least 2 players, and it's where you just shove everything else off on somebody else.
The competitive multiplayer cards.
Yeah.
The Hemlock Vale one is I'll pay you back.
Yep.
Okay, Circle Undone 129 is
You owe me one.
Landlord's Quarters.
What was the edge number, Sean?
Let me play. Oh my. Let me play it again.
Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A, 319, EOTE 51,
51.
PH
Edge of the Earth 51.
FHV 72.
Feast of Hemlock Vale 72.
Was the Circle Undone one 129?
Let's see.
Edge
Agenda
51 is
3A,
untimely transaction.
Yeah.
Rogue Cards, PFA 28, TCU 319,
TCU was 319.
Oh, 319.
EOTE
Goodness gracious, that's
51,
far.
VH FHV 72, and
You owe me one.
ISD
Nailed it.
30.
All right.
I suppose that's right. For the ones that released in the old fashion, the numbers are different than we would see them now.
Yeah.
You're not going to see player cards with 300 on them anymore.
Yeah.
Interesting. Okay. So, I mean, the theme is you have to have another player to push the thing off
Yeah.
onto.
I
But
think so.
what was the? Did you say there was a location from TCU?
No, that I heard the number wrong.
Oh,
it
got
ended
it, got
up being Landlord's Quarters or something like that. So
Got it. Okay.
yeah.
All right. I feel pretty good on that one.
Yeah.
Here's 3.
Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A, Neutral and Weakness Cards, TDE 35,
TDE weakness 35,
36,
36,
37,
37,
and 38,
38.
and TSK 2 and 3.
So glad the Knights Who Say Knee called into our hotline. I'm here for it.
I can't unhear it now. Dream Eaters.
Come on, start. There we go.
37, and 38, and TSK.
Dream Eaters 35 is self-centered.
Okay.
Then Klepto, then Narcolepsy, then Your Worst Nightmare.
Okay.
So
So-
that's all. Those are the multiplayer weaknesses, I
Uh-huh.
believe. Yep.
So I think the overarching theme here is
It's
multiplayer
multiplayer stuff.
cards.
Yeah. I think we cracked the whole case.
I think we did it. I want to play the other two
Mhm.
for anyone who wants to puzzle this out. But I think we got it.
Yeah.
2 and 3.
Sorry, the Knights Who Say Knee interrupted me. It was annoying but charming. So here, let me play the other two.
Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A, Seeker Cards, PTC 265, TCU 275, and TSK 53.
Okay, just out of curiosity, what's TSK 53?
Guidance level 1.
Okay, yep. I think we got it. Here's 5.
Yep.
Riddles and Rain, Agenda 3A, Mystic Cards, none. Honorable mention, PTC 270.
Pat de Carcosa 270? What do we got there?
So these were just all it was by class and like weakness and stuff then. Of all the the cards that you need team members to do.
Okay. Yep.
So it was PTC 270.
Yep.
It's Ward 2.
Oh, okay.
That would do it.
So I guess it's honorable mention.
Honorable mention because, like, what's the point if
Yeah.
there's no multiplayer?
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you, y'all, including and especially the Knights Who Say Knee, for calling in. That was fun. I think we got it, and that's a hell of a list, actually. So we must have put that out there. Like, what are the cards that like need multiplayer to be worth even including? And that's a fair few. I stand by my my assertion that this is a multiplayer game with solo rules.
Really? Because that's a small list of cards compared to all the entire list of cards in the game. You could play solo.
No. But we get to compare it against the cards that only work in solo, right? Because like that's the flip side of that coin. And then the running edge is all the cards that work in both. In this coin analogy.
I guess.
Careful, you're inviting
No,
more puzzles now.
Are there any cards that only work in solo? I don't think so. Honorable mention, Ward of Protection.
Riddles in Rain, Agenda 3A.
Are there only cards that don't work in either?
Oh. See, I was about to say cards, but like I'm gonna say someone's favorite, and they're gonna get angry.
I know, right?
I'm gonna stop myself. I have the self-control. Well, excellent. That is everything. That is the catch-up. Thank you, everyone, for calling into the Mythos Busters hotline. As always, it is fantastic to hear from you, boys. Let's talk about some BusterCon.
Do it.
And everyone watching, bear with me. I know the screen's gonna be a little busy. I did the best that I could with it, but I think we're gonna get through it just fine. Okay.
And while you're pulling that up, Sean, another shout out to, if anybody's just listening to this, be sure to go back to our either Twitch channel or YouTube to see the visuals, or we've got links in multiple places to the photo album where all this stuff is stored, including on our main BusterCon page on our website.
Hell yeah. It's out there. If only you want it. So guys, BusterCon was a couple weeks ago.
Was.
It sure was.
It already feels like several months back.
See here, I still haven't recovered, so it feels fresh for me.
That was going to be my question: is have you boys recovered?
No, but we're working at it.
I think so.
We're working at it. I traveled the weekend immediately afterwards, so it was like BusterCon, work, travel, and then this week, and so we're getting there.
So did Scott.
I traveled from BusterCon to a work travel.
Look, in the Misery Olympics here, Scott wins this one handily.
Yeah.
Well,
I don't know. I heard that there's a trade for that. Is he can win that, and then you win the Star Wars.
Oof. Is that the negotiation?
I mean, for those who didn't hear my woes, I left Sunday afternoon, leaving Dead CCG Day early, which broke my heart to go to this conference for work where I was asked to speak on my my work position. It was, a great opportunity, all that stuff. So I had to take it. And then the airline lost my luggage, and I didn't get it back for 3 days, and that had all my like businessy clothes in it. So I had to miss like the first half day of the convention or the conference, sorry, and like go buy a new wardrobe. And yeah, it was just terrible. And I got the suitcase back like the evening before we left the next morning to go home. So I was sick. It was great.
Yeah. So you win. I traveled, but nothing went wrong during my travel. So, but yeah. So BusterCon was a thing. So I guess we'll just kind of walk through the days. Here's a before picture, and it's not even like true before. This was after we had been working at it for like a half hour, but the room slowly took shape. Sorry, I was on the wrong slide. And
when we got there, it was just assorted tables and chairs.
Yeah,
that was kind of it.
They weren't even in lines.
Yeah.
So I mean, I suppose before we like get into the timeline of it here, big hits. So we've got the photo album out there. Justin, what was the final head count this year?
125 plus. I don't remember like where we quite got past that, but yeah, last year we were at right around 100. So throw another 25 people in there, and I know we had some people who couldn't make it this year who were there last time, and yeah, it felt like a good number. I mean, I think we could have comfortably fit a few more in the space. It wouldn't have felt overcrowded, but it was good. I'm glad we got that second room.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
And the second room was fantastic, and it also helped the bell kind of sit in a more opt-in type position. So
and a much more ominous spot, right?
True.
Like instead of off to the side for anyone who was there last year and not this year. So in the big event room last year, the bell was off on the left wall. It was sitting there. It was easy to see. This year,
last year was over here.
It was way up front underneath the giant BusterCon logo, and so you had to walk all the way up front before before the black thrones, before the black logo.
That's right.
And then ring the bell, sign the book.
And yeah, so yeah, I mean, like we had enough like late registrants that we ran out of swag this time, which was kind of cool. Like that I don't know, that was pretty fun. So speaking of swag, we can finally kind of talk about what we did with it. So let me pull up. First and foremost, we had some wonderful art commissioned by our good friend and compatriot Ramon Ignacio Bunge. And it's our special Edge of the Earth partner Lord of the Rings art.
So good. So good.
Came out so well. It's very purple and periwinkle. It's gorgeous. Oh yeah, I suppose it's the art that I put up on Twitch. You've been looking at it the whole time.
The photo I have up here is a little washed out or a little darker. It is closer to what is in the background of this stream. It is bright. It's closer to what you see on my Iron Man jersey. It's very cool.
Yep. So the art came out really well. We actually had this art commissioned specifically for the Tickle topper. So very similar to the exploration deck topper that we did for the Forgotten Age. We had this art commissioned to just slop right on top the Tickle deck. Everyone knows where it's at. I think it worked really well.
I always like to think of this art like we took I guess the ideas, like you said, from the Fellowship, the 9 from Lord of the Rings, but there's that dog down there. That must be Gollum, right? That's
right.
Yeah,
the good version of Gollum.
Yeah. What are you talking about? He was good in the movies, right? That was the good guy.
I mean, definitely the most captivating parts. So we got the Tickle topper, of course, the return of the Buster board. We had to make these available for anyone who missed it last year. Now people could potentially have a set, right? We got our standard stickers. We got our Live, Laugh, Love Ancient Evils, which no one's ever sad to see. I always love when that shows up. Restock of
I'm sad when they show up from the deck.
Well, that's true. That's true. By the end of Iron Man, Scott was handing out cards from the encounter deck, and every time he'd hit one, he'd be like, "Fuck, live, laugh, love."
Can live, laugh, love.
Yeah. Swarm cards, and of course, I think possibly most exciting for us, the Woods of the Black Goat is in its final form, and we got to drop that at BusterCon this year. So. Yeah,
with such a packed schedule, though, we didn't even have like a set time to play it.
No,
like we didn't set aside like, oh, here's an event time. Right? It was just like we got too much other stuff to do, so this is for you to take home and play there.
Yeah,
everyone graciously helped us play test last year, so it was an opt-in, play it on your own time situation this year. But yeah, so the design that Nick started and Ian brought home, I'm very proud of how that turned out. I thought it went really well. It's a fun tower defense, Goat Island cabin defense scenario, just like we wanted it to be.
And if anyone doesn't like it, it's Nick's fault.
Exactly.
Exactly. Always. Anything we do that you don't like, Nick's fault ever. It's just standing orders.
point of interest for anyone who might endeavor to play this in the future, bring killing decks. Like there are use for getting clues, but like the primary thing you're doing is batting enemies away. It says it on the tin. So just be prepared for that one. It's a slog of a fight.
And
in
it
the best
is
way possible.
you can win. You can successfully get through that scenario without discovering a single clue.
True.
You could take 4 killers, and actually, that might be the optimal way to play. I'm not sure.
You'd miss out on like the coolest piece of the scavenging puzzle, though. Or
Yeah.
The reinforcements.
So bring Scene of the Crime. There you go.
There it is.
It will always trigger.
Well, yeah. So that was really fun. It was very fun for me to be able to play Goat for the first time with real cards, because for how long we got to test it a little bit last year, but for how long that existed just in digital form while we were testing it, it was very cool to see it like fully realize.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because this was, Sean, where we're playing here with Morton and Chad. This was your first time as well playing it with the physical cards, the final version.
Yep.
Yeah.
First and to this point only. So looking to get some more reps in. I mean, I don't know. Ian, I suppose Ian and Scott, yeah, you can speak to this though. When you've play tested something for a while, it's kind of like I'm gonna let it be. I'm gonna let it be.
Yeah, when you've played it a dozen times, it's like, all right, here's the final version. And you're like, neat.
Yeah.
I played version 1 through 12, and I'm tired.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, it's so weird. It doesn't even feel like this way with Fortune and Folly too. But then once you take a good amount of time and play it, then it's almost like a new scenario again.
Yeah.
True.
Just got to give yourself some distance.
That's right. It doth make the heart grow fonder, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, cool. Well, so that was kind of the scoop on swag for the year. So when it started for us on Tuesday, Scott rolled in, and we ended up while Justin was still doing a little bit of prep work, Scott and I did our normal Star Wars CCG. We also did trivia that night.
Yeah, we came in third actually.
We came in third.
Night. Yeah.
Our team name is A New Ope, which perhaps only you Minnesotans will get. I don't know how far that has spread.
A New Ope.
What kind of trivia was it?
It was general trivia, and Scott was a great addition to the team. I'm normally pretty good with like the pop culture stuff and like movies and references, but like Scott was,
and I'm terrible.
Yeah, okay, but the Canadian was sitting here like nailing all of the like civics, the U.S. civics questions.
That
sounds right.
Me.
And then making fun of you and Megan for me getting it.
Like, is it Secretary of State? And Scott's like, yes, it's Secretary. Yeah.
But it was a Surgeon General.
Oh, Surgeon General. You're correct.
Yeah.
It was one of those.
A few of the international questions too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyways.
Anyway,
we made a great team. It was a great mix.
That's right. And it's the farthest
It was an international coalition.
It was the farthest we've gotten at that particular trivia night too. So. But then Scott and I continued our age-old battle of Star Wars CCG. I think it went well for you this year, mostly.
It did. Yeah, this is did I we only played 2 games, but I think I swept you.
Yep.
Wow,
that is my memory as well.
Yeah.
I'm still trying to figure out that Star Destroyer blow up the Death Star deck, and it's so slow. And I don't have a lot of the right cards.
Set your course for Alderaan?
Yeah, set your course for Alderaan.
We'll work on it. We'll work on it.
Yeah.
We'll work on it. Yeah,
we'll workshop it.
Yeah.
But anyway, that then brings us to setup day. So, we had all of our swag assembly. We spent a ton of time moving tables and chairs around, as I mentioned. Justin
helped an exactly equal amount that day.
Yeah, truly. Everyone showed up right on time. No one strolled in when we were like tying the ribbon on the thing.
But I mean, that makes sense because we all equally love Star Wars as our favorite space. Fandom. I think those two things are they are tied together forever.
Justin, I think one of the more notable additions to BusterCon this year was your free shit table, because it was epic. It was a thing to behold, and it refreshed every day of the con.
It really did.
Like,
I mean, we had a table like this last year, right? And there was some stuff, and people brought it. This year, I needed to get rid of a bunch of crap in my swag hoard, my personal one anyway, right? So that was where a lot of it came from. But we did have a bunch of other stuff from other people popping out throughout there. I would say most days it was what you're showing in that picture there, plus another 20%.
mm-hmm.
And then by the last day, there was less than the 2 tables worth left.
Yeah. Like,
if you wanted a full Keyforge collection, plus all the
Yeah, you could
accoutrement
really
needed
have
to
it.
store that stuff, that was available. Yeah.
I was glad people saw the value in like the storage stuff and the play
Mhm.
mats, because again, I don't need all the extra Keyforge stuff. For anybody who I didn't talk to there, when FFG sold off all their Keyforge stock when they got rid of the game, it had clearanced out at like 90% off. And so I got a bunch for a little Keyforge league we would run, because none of us do anything other than play kitchen table, but then we don't really play that way anymore, so it was just time for this stuff to go. And so yeah, there were, I don't know, probably 50 to 60 play mats, a bunch of the storage stuff. I was just for the hell of it being like, man, I wonder what the MSRP on all the stuff on there was, because again, that's not actually what was paid for any of it, but it was about $3,500 worth of MSRP that went through the free stuff table this year.
that's impressive.
A lot.
It was a lot of stuff. But I don't know, you had the system down where like people would filter through and be like, oh, new stuff. So they knew to check every day, and they were never disappointed. There's always new stuff.
Piece of candy.
You got to keep them coming back, because if it's just all there right away, then people might be like, I looked and I don't need it. But if they got to keep coming back.
Ah, yes, the insidious effect of intermittent reward systems. All right, so then of course that leads us to our annual tradition, where we all go and eat far too much sushi. But Scott had a special surprise for us this year.
Yeah, you did.
And we all got lightsabers for chopsticks.
Yeah. I saw these on some social media thing like a week before I was coming. I was like, oh, these are on Amazon. Oh, they're $20 for a pack of 4. Well, that's an easy decision. So I just knew that all of us being avid Star Wars fans, and that it being our favorite science fiction franchise,
every
all
single
4
one
of us. Yeah.
I did like how we had didn't need to have much of a discussion about which color of them went where either. That was pretty easy.
Yeah.
Truly.
I did like how that turned out, because Luke's green lightsaber in Return of the Jedi was always my favorite. So, yeah.
Yep. And Mace Windu, of course, only purple lightsaber that's ever made it to an actual numbered Star Wars movie somehow.
Yeah. Oh, and I guess since with this will also be on podcast form, I got the red Sith ones. Shocking no one who knows me.
And I got the blue ones because I love them all equally, and it's whatever you guys wanted. So
it's just blue is the most like classic consummate lightsaber color, so that makes sense to go to you.
That's true.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Those were so cool, Scott. I know we said thank you that night, but
I know.
It was fun.
Yeah.
We had like 3 separate people walk by the table and be like, ooh, those are so cool.
Including the guy wearing a shirt that said Death Star plans.
That's right.
Yeah.
It was so good.
I will say though, they were more slippery than the wooden ones, and so sometimes grabbing the actual sushi, it made it more difficult.
Takes
So
some skill. Yeah.
Had to use the Force a bit, but it was...
So then I suppose that leads us to open. So everyone showed up promptly. I think when we opened things up, I think what do we have, like 80% of our registrations were in by noon on that first day.
It was something like that. I mean, we shocked the FFZ staff, because they apparently had a discussion of like, why are they doing this on a Thursday. Like, I guess most of the cons they have there are not 4-day events. It's mainly weekend or 3-day events. And then when they saw the number of people we had coming through right away, they got it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we don't
Yeah,
half-ass it
we had-
here at Mythos Busters Incorporated.
Yeah, we had people lined up out the door. Just they were streaming in. I don't think I have the video of that uploaded yet, but yeah, just snaking all the way through the game center.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always fun.
They
There's
just need to
us
learn how to
full-
host a scenario or host an event like ours. So
Yeah.
we know how to
Look
do
at
it.
us. Look at us hold up, Nick.
Oh.
But yeah, so we got rolling immediately, and while we're talking about it, big thanks to the head librarian, Chad, formerly known as Reaverman in the Discord, did a huge amount of the lifting on running massive multiplayer events throughout the entire con, but especially like right away, while the rest of us were fairly occupied with getting people checked in. So. But yeah, I have to say that it's unfortunate. Outside of Iron Man, I only got to play like one game of Arkham each day, and the rest of the day was just kind of like being busy and running things.
Yeah, I know that first day we did get to play. At least some of us got to play the blob that ate everything else.
Yeah, okay,
for the
that was
first
Blob,
time. I'd never played that one before, that version of the blob, so that was fun.
Yeah, and
That was.
Go ahead.
I was gonna say that one was fun, helping run because the blob that ate everything else has some extra stuff you can do as the event runner person.
That's
so
right.
sorry, I believe I played in that one. Maybe I'll save this for when we talk about Charity Blob.
Yeah, I suppose it bears mentioning.
Okay.
This was our just like this was non-massive blob. We had gotten everyone checked in. Everyone else was already playing something else. But we had a block of time, and we were just like, let's just throw on Blob since I don't think any of us are going to be able to actually play in the big one. I played my Dilemma Patrice, and as always, it was chaotic fun.
You did. The blob kept eating the floor repeatedly, so it was giving us some exercise during BusterCon.
Yep, we had to keep your feet off the
core
floor.
workouts.
Yeah.
That Patrice deck is always fun for everyone at the table.
Uh-huh.
Everyone gets to play the Patrice deck.
That's right.
The best part.
Yeah, it's true.
I'm like, guys, how many times can I play Heed the Dream before everyone starts to get nervous and angry? It was twice. It was 2 times. I'm trying to think what else was going on Thursday. Like obviously throughout the weekend, FFC was having a big game sale. I think we have a picture of that. That worked out really well because there was actually some really good stuff that they had going on, and it was marked down like 40% off and up.
Yeah, it was 40 to 70% off of this area. They were getting rid of their demo library. They had opened up their Fantasy Flight Games vault of like open other copies of stuff. That all had been going on from the weekend before, but there was still a lot of good stuff left. So you got to see people trickle out and be like, okay, well, I'm here. And then the next day, I'm still here. Which I can't throw stones because of how much I bought. And I mean, part of mine is to flip and other stuff too. But yeah, it was kind of cool. It was going on.
Yeah,
if I had room in my luggage, I probably would have partook a little bit more.
Yeah.
But alas,
when you have to fly, it limits my in a good way. It limited my ability to grab
in a good way. Yeah.
What I'm hearing is I have to go back there and do a video feed for you to see if we have to ship anything to you.
Yeah, I took one big trip through it at the beginning of the con. I'm like, this is it. This is all I'm gonna do. And I found I found an X-Men game, which will always hit. This is the Mutant Insurrection, which is basically like X-Men Elder Sign. Figured that seemed okay. But yeah, there was some cool stuff out there. And it was very interesting and just kind of made the Game Center feel a little bit different. I think is kind of why I wanted to bring it up, because we had the majority of the game space. This sale was taking up a huge amount of like what's left of the general play space. Like
That's true.
Like the game center has just kind of changed vibes over the years, and this year felt particularly different just because of how the space got used, I guess.
Mhm.
But yeah. What else from Thursday?
Real quick, I do see we had a question in chat related to swag and if the new standalone will be made available for print and play for those who could not attend BusterCon, and the answer is yes.
Yeah.
So Ian has that on his to-do list, and we'll get it up on the website. I'm sure once it's up there, we'll let Cold Toes and whoever else works on that Inexorable Fate plug-in work to make it easier. But yeah, we want to get that out into the wild. We're still cleaning up stuff from BusterCon. Haven't done it yet.
Yeah, it will inevitably get the same treatment as Constellation. Ne'er you fear. Oh, look how happy Nick is. This was our blob. This is the one we were doing. Okay, so Friday. Guess what? It was more Arkham. So we did the big blob, so the big traditional blob, and Scott actually helped run that. So Scott, now tell us about all your fun extra shenanigans.
All right. This one was a return to as well. Or sorry, not a return to. The blob ate everything else.
Yes.
There's a bunch of different ways that there's a bunch of new reality acid options, and some of them say like grab one of the hosts or the event organizer, and they give you a bonus, or they make the blob devour something beneficial or negative or whatever. So it actually involves human choice where they grab one of us and we go over. One of my favorites was get an event organizer. They give you something beneficial, like they change something in the game state. And so I'm looking at their game state. I'm like, God, this is like spur of the moment. I'm like, do you have extra chaos tokens with you? They're like, yeah. I'm like, throw 2 blessed tokens in. Those are now elder signs for the rest of the game. So their bag had 3 elder signs, which they were very happy about.
Yeah,
They said they only drew it once. They only drew one of those once in the rest of the entire the game.
That's
so
criminal.
Really,
Of course.
yeah. And then there's like ones where I made the blob devour an enemy that was giving this group a headache. It was just some really cool options. And then there was also these 10 monsters or enemies. I think they were whatever they were. And they all had text on them like, if you see an enemy at 1 health remaining on a board, you can then like take that enemy away and put this enemy in. And it just there's a bunch of those like that. Like, or if you just saw an asset get devoured, you can spawn this at the place where the asset got devoured from. Like, there was all these weird little blob monsters you can just throw into someone's game to mess them up. So yeah,
That's
and
awesome.
this was the charity blob that we did. And oh my goodness, Aaron, what's his name on Discord?
Thoth.
Just as last year, we kind of tag team this. And last year we had it where you could buy countermeasures for $5, and a lot of people liked that, and we raised just over $1,600 last year for Trans Lifeline. This year we did the same thing, but we changed the prices and we actually offered more options. So we said countermeasures for $10. If you drew a token and you wanted to redraw it a la Wendy, like a Wendy power, you could pay $20 and just you get a Wendy power. If you draw an encounter card that you just do not want, so basically a Ward 5, cancel that encounter card, $25. And you can just get rid of that. And then also during the mulligan phase, if you want an additional mulligan or to redo your entire mulligan, you could pay $20 and do that. And all this money is going to charity. It's going to Trans Lifeline. Like, we are not making a cent off of this. It's not our money. The whole intent is to, you know what, let's pay to win. It seems really fun. I've seen this at local game stores where they have like Warhammer tournaments, and you bring in canned goods, and the amount of canned goods you bring in like affect the game somehow, right? Like, it's just all for fun. And this year we raised, as far as we could tell, $1,570. But I think there are still people who are just like, they knew that they could just cancel a card for $25, so they donate $25, but they didn't tell us necessarily. Last year they had to because it was all countermeasures. But this year, so
And we did have a few people ask to confirm what the charity was and all that,
Mhm.
and I think they donate after. So I'm sure we surpassed it.
I
from
think
last
so.
year. Yeah.
I think so because we were like $50 less than last year, which means like I'm sure we missed $50 worth of donations somewhere because people were just like, "Oh, I'm getting rid of that. I'm redrawing that token. All this stuff, right?"
Yeah.
So, anyways, it was super fun. People loved it. There's a picture of Maka here with. I don't know if you have that one up.
Yeah, I'll pull
Yeah,
it up.
I put that on the list too. And Scott, maybe you can actually describe it. I played in the blob the first day with Maka. I try and get at least one game in with him every year when he drives in, and just some shenanigans with traps I don't understand. And then all of a sudden someone was like, "You got to go see what this guy is doing with. He's got like 7 blobs lined up." I'm like, "I don't even know what's happening." And so I walk over and he's like, "Hey, look at this."
I believe what's it called? Improvised trap.
Mm-hmm.
And so he somehow got they were walking enemies through the location to trap them there, and they were each taking a damage each turn because of the trap.
Yeah.
So they couldn't leave, and they were
couldn't
just slowly
attack.
being killed.
Yeah.
Yeah. They couldn't leave, they couldn't attack, and it was like at the end of the round they take a damage. Yeah.
And
so.
it appears to be parallel Pete here, with regular back. So I'm seeing both Guardian and Mystic Splash here, but maybe I don't know parallel Pete's deck building that well.
Yeah.
Nonsense.
Yeah, absolute nonsense. It seemed really cool. So.
And then, oh my god.
Sorry, makeshift trap, not improvised trap.
Yeah, yes.
Makeshift.
Yep, you're 100% correct.
Yeah.
I see we have a point on the spill here. I guess that's my story to tell.
Yeah.
So I guess let me throw the picture up here while we're expounding. So after we finished Blob, I had set my quiver down on the desk and had sat down for a while. And then we were getting ready to go do something. I was getting ready to go finalize stuff for the panel. And I picked up my quiver, whose lid I had left unzipped for some reason. And out pop most of the cards that were in the quiver. So I sat there staring, contemplating my life and the sum of all my failures for a moment. And I think I made a pitiful enough noise that everyone looked. and
yes, you did.
At a certain point, I had to like lay down in my shame and collect myself. But it was okay. Thoth and Nick were nearby, and they graciously helped me scoop everything up. So in addition to going and finalizing everything with the panel, I also spent 20 minutes sorting the cards in my quiver back into the order they were supposed to be in. So yeah, that was the spill. It was a moment. It was a moment in time
to tell the tale.
That's right. Zip your quivers, kids.
Yeah, always keep them zipped.
That sounded like 1920s slang. Like, zip your quivers.
Zip your quivers and take your best girl out to a talkie.
Now hit the brakes.
I do appreciate that in this picture, if you look closely enough, you'll see an alt art Promise of Power that was being given out by Comfort Noise. And it was my favorite thing to hand someone that Promise of Power and watch them work it out. Shoot, do we have a picture of that? I might go grab it.
Yeah, there were some, while you're looking at that, I don't think we put a ton of them in our list yet, but there were a lot of fun alt arts and other things. The community is so creative. So I'm sure I'll forget some of them, but there were, Comfort Noise had a couple different ones, I think.
Chad had the Ghoul-Aid Man.
Yeah, so Head Librarian had the Ghoul-Aid Man and some different, I think customs from the Chilling Cold set. And then Cold Toes had the fine clothes that was the penguin version. The Wuck Wuck penguin.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
The Wuck Wuck Tux.
Yeah, there you go. I forget the username for the person who does the different little label strips for the name tags.
The badges, like the strips that go on your
And
lanyard.
he was formerly the #1 Ichtaka simp, but I think they have changed their simpage since then.
Yeah. Is that allowed?
Is that allowed? I don't know. Ichtaka might come for you.
Yeah, and there might be some others as well, but I mean those are just the ones that pop to mind.
#1 Brick simp is what Andy's simping for nowadays. I don't know if that's like Brick from Borderlands or just like there's a story there that I'm unaware of. But yeah, like so many cool and like sorry, did you mention Caitlin running around with the
No.
Yeah, so no. Caitlin also, in addition to bringing just gobs of baked goods, also was walking around with little snowflakes of varying colors that people could get sewn into their con lanyard, in recognition of Edge. So that was cool. Like I'm saving my lanyard and badge from this year because I've got like 6 different things on it from all the people bringing all the cool shit.
Agreed.
And then I will mention it here because we're talking about the custom stuff. But Anti Markovnikov had name badges for Iron Man.
Yes.
Oh yes,
that's right.
So
he had bothered to go and grab all the team names and actually give badges for that. Yeah, like my lanyard this year was loaded because everyone was being so like awesome and crafty.
Yes, it was very much. I remember messaging with him ahead of time, and he's like, "What do you think of this?" And my response was, "We will fund it if you can do it." We're a little busy otherwise, but I think I have 3 name tags for that because I have the Edging Busters, one that says Mythos Busters, and then one team because I didn't kick them out of a table gave me an honorary one of theirs.
That's awesome. That's great. So then Friday concluded with the dev panel. That was a lot of fun. So we got to sit down with Duke and Nick and Waleed this time and talk primarily about Feast of Hemlock Vale. But since Waleed did not work on Feast of Hemlock Vale, we got to just ask him some more general questions. That was fun. I got to listen to the edit of that today. Thanks, Scott. So that'll be out to you guys who weren't able to attend. In due time.
I believe that will be our December episode. So just as a heads up, so no one's waiting for it for too long, you'll be hearing what we're doing right here tonight in October, and so then that will be our December episode.
Yes. And then, of course, after the panel, we did our drawing of the weaknesses. We did a fair amount of talking about plot armor as we have in talking about Edge of the Earth Iron Man. And Nick has never stopped giving us guff, and we had kept saying
this is true.
We had kept saying, it won't matter. But anyway, so we had we had the devs pick our first kill, our partner airplane crash kill from Edge. And sure enough, I was saying the whole time we're talking about this forever, and it won't matter because we're not gonna pluck Kensler.
Yeah.
Sure enough, let me actually pull it up here. Sure enough, Duke whips it out for us, and it is Dr. Amy Kensler.
Yeah,
should have known.
And it's so funny that gif Nick is completely stone faced and stoic. Even
yeah.
Even though he was the one who would be most likely to yell at us in that moment.
This GIF looks so coordinated among us, but this was just natural.
It was not at all.
No,
we need to get this added to the. I don't know how we do it with GIFs, but we need to add it to the server so we can use it.
Yeah. Upon closer inspection.
Yeah.
So then we did our drawing of the weaknesses, which generally went pretty well. So Scott running Harvey. What did you end up with?
Indebted.
Oh, that's right, Indebted, which is like
I was totally fine with that.
over
It was
the
fine.
moon.
Yeah, you were fine.
I had such a low to the ground Harvey deck with some resource cards in there. Like I maybe like used 4 or 5 actions over the entire campaign to make a resource. Like I was fine.
Yeah. And sorry, I'm trying to find the other moments that we pulled here. Justin with Hank, what did you end up with?
The thing that follows.
That's right, the thing that follows. Oh yeah, here we go.
And then Ian, what'd you get?
Yeah, I was playing as Daryl and I got Psychosis, which I don't think actually pinged me once throughout the campaign.
Well, there you go.
It came up a few times, but it didn't go. I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah.
And then
of course,
Sean,
I made the mistake of leaving myself for last, and God knows fate couldn't let it be.
Yeah.
So I'm playing Kaimani. Then I didn't really have it in my head like which ones I should really be afraid of. I figured anything that like made me investigate would not be great, but I could work with it. And I pulled leg injury. Which, if no one remembers what leg injury does, is it can be healed off by like a point of damage. And after you do one of 3 things, one of which is move and evade, you can't do it again, any of those things for the remainder of the round. And like that's literally and figuratively and everything in between crippling in Kaimani. So alas, I had to I look very happy about it. I had to renounce my pride, and I was a coward, and I rejected my fate, and it all ended up fine. Very dramatic, though. Very dramatic.
This is also all on the dev panel audio episode. I kind of cut it up and I left it in so you can hear some of our emotional reactions and the screams, and then you can hear Sean admitting that he is a coward and rejects his fate. So, little treat for y'all when that comes out.
Yeah. So, anyway, but it all went really well. Friday was a blast, and Saturday was the game. Was the true game. Was the centerpiece.
The game. Yeah.
So, yeah, I suppose. So we had some decent cosplay on Saturday. I'll start throwing some of those up here. But it was mostly Iron Man. So we played Edge of the Earth Iron Man. And we played it.
Yep. It happened. I think it went well. It was the last 2 scenarios that kind of got a little dicey, but we still prevailed.
I'm sorry, backing up this picture, capturing the moment that we pulled Kensler. That's the face I was expecting to see on Nick. That's what we wanted.
There it is. Yeah.
Anyway, sorry. Oh, I suppose we can't forget. We cannot forget for a moment poolside breakfast. We must.
Oh, yes.
It is an
that must
integral
be
part.
memorialized.
Integral part of BusterCon lore.
Soggy breakfast.
Of all the breakfasts, this one was the dampest.
So
for some reason they set up. We had enough people in the hotel block that they set up like breakfast separate from the normal breakfast for people in the hotel block. I think just to crowd control.
Yeah.
There was a massive event in the ballrooms that night, and so I think they needed the whole day to set up for it.
Yeah,
I think it was a wedding.
It was something.
It could have been. I think there was also like
yeah.
a like dance event or something for a local organization, but normally it had been over in one of the ballrooms, just a portion of it. But then that evening, all of them were in use for one big event, and so yeah, he all got chlorinated bacon.
I was just thinking, like, wouldn't it be hilarious if you went down there like in your swimsuit, like had a bit of breakfast, went for a dip, got back out, had some more breakfast?
Like get your plate and just like sit down in the hot tub with everyone else in the hot tub. How's it going?
Poolside breakfast. Yeah.
I would be walking in and being like, what fucking family ass reunion ass event did I just walk in on?
Yeah, I know.
Am I invited? Can I stay? Is that bacon?
Yeah.
I was so sure someone was going to take an involuntary dip during breakfast, and I was pretty sure it was going to be me, but thankfully it didn't happen.
And I suppose I blew past a Friday night, and the reason that Scott and Ian were pictured alone here was because they got ahead of us. So Friday night, as is our tradition, we had little moments of existential crisis. Scott was the smart one and went to bed early.
Like right away.
Like
I was very
oh,
impressed.
like fucking
Yeah.
It was so great.
11.
You guys don't even. I was so rested. I felt great.
So Ian, Nick, Case, and I went back to the hotel room, and Case was throwing together their Iron Man deck, and we kind of were talking it through as I was assembling both mine and you, making sure your Harvey one was okay, Scott, and then Justin was also using my Hank deck, so I was just assembling our ones. Well, we got through this like theory discussion on who was Case playing? Gloria.
Gloria.
Hammer, Cyclopean Hammer Gloria. And that was really fun to build. So what ended up happening was, in turn, like Nick threw his deck down and was asking for thoughts and ideas. And I'm like, oh God, I was really thinking about this Kamani deck. Oh, I guess I'll throw it in here. And like, Ian, did we do yours too? Or yours was okay?
I think I talked about it a little bit, but not, yeah.
Anyway, we ended up staying up to like 2:30, like just making sure all of our decks were locked in, and it worked. We made a couple of last minute changes to, at least to my Kaimani deck, that I was very glad we made. But anyway, suffice it to say, Ian and Scott made it down to breakfast before Nick and I did. But anyway, yeah. So Iron Man Day was a good time. We got the old time lapse here.
I do have to thank Waleed for bringing his cards randomly, because I was borrowing Sean's cards so that I didn't have to. I was trying to reduce the amount of stuff I packed in my suitcase. So weeks before, I'm like, "Hey, Sean, can I just borrow your cards? Like, I could just make my deck out of your cards." He's like, "Yeah, sounds good." And then Iron Man Day came around, and you came down, and you forgot to grab the cards for my upgrades.
Guess what cards they were, guys. Guess what cards Sean would forget.
The spilled ones.
Why does it rhyme with Tronded?
Yeah.
Yeah, Scott's deck was a Dream Diary deck, and I forgot Essence of the Dream. So yeah.
Oh, and a bunch of other upgraded cards.
Well, I mean, that's just because we like got a bunch of XP beyond what we expected, right?
Oh, well, yeah, that too. Anyways, so I used a bunch of Waleed's cards, and I think I used like 12 of his cards. By the end of he wasn't playing Iron Man, so it's all good.
Yeah, he was sitting in the corner, like pouring through the Edge of the Earth campaign guide. I think experiencing like late stage FOMO. I'm not a medical expert.
Some parts for the first time, and he was like, at some points he'd like come to the table. He's like, "Who would write this? This is so sad. Oh my God!" Like, I think
at one point he had to, just because of it. I mean, it's not truly because of it, but I'm framing it as he was so defeated by it, he had to just curl up on the couch.
Yeah,
there's a picture
blankets.
of that. Him
with a nice
up
little blankie. Yeah.
As the day progressed,
he was trying to lay down, so I covered him up.
Yeah.
As you do, you gotta take care of your friends.
So I don't think we've talked about it yet, but Justin had a very special surprise for two very special surprises for our Iron Man team. You've seen our gorgeous jerseys, which is of course a like it's kind of a fractal version of our Tickle.
It's probably not the right phrase, but I do this with like I've done it for all our jerseys where it's mirrored both ways. I call it a nightmare tessellation, just because it sounds cool.
Yep.
But yeah, it's basically mirrored both ways, and then I try and have it in a way that it also looks fun from afar. So like here, it looks like we have stripes, but then if you get up close, and then then like a sports patch. But if you get up close, then you see it's the fellowship art, but just mirrored a bunch of different ways.
Like it's ridiculous, but it kind of works. It shouldn't, but it does.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then beyond that, Nick, we had a like just a deluge of a rainstorm sweep through right before open. So everyone who was waiting outside ready to get into Iron Man got absolutely drenched.
Well, and it didn't get all the way here. I drove through a hailstorm that morning to get there.
Like it was a thing, and then it was gone. It was gone, and it was done. But anyway, so Justin, your second special surprise. Why don't you talk about that?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I wanted to do something fun for Iron Man because we pick these characters and then we stick with them for a full day. And so I bought the STL files to print up our Investigator minis. There's a local game store that'll print stuff because I don't have a 3D printer. And so I had them print up 2 versions of each of these. So we have on the left Harvey, then Kaimani, then Hank, then Daryl. And I have, I'm sure in the album we have other versions of it too.
Yeah,
but then I had a good friend of mine. She's into mini painting. I don't have the patience for it, but I know she really likes it. So I had her paint up one version of the minis that is just traditional. So I linked her to the cards online and said, hey, here's what they look like. If you can go for it. And so she put terrain on the base. Like Hank has hay on his pitchfork. She just absolutely crushed it.
Yeah,
And
they look
then
so
for
good.
for the second one, I just showed her a picture of these jerseys and said, for these ones, can you paint them in a color scheme or just go wild with it in a way that is inspired by these jerseys? And so she did, using these colors, and then on the backs of all of them is you see this like kind of the, I don't know, geometric shape. It's on the back of all of them.
Someone called it the Wuk Wuk hole. But
yeah.
Wuk hole,
and then like Hank has now it's also kind of flowery and the purplish color and there it turned out so good, and then it gave us a keepsake to take with us. We each took our the jersey colored version of the Investigator we played, and then each one other of those. So I'm real jazzed about those. I don't have it in the album yet, but I had the video of when I revealed it to you guys. I watched it again today, and when Sean realized he was getting cosmetic options.
I am a sucker for swappable
You're giving
skins,
me
my
skins?
friend.
Yeah.
And then now I see we have the video up. I believe this is when people were streaming in for Iron Man, because I like to video this one because you see how fast people come in.
Yeah,
I think
everyone's serious business.
I think this video is like 2 minutes long, and you just get everybody streaming in, and me telling them to get pumped because so many of them are so focused.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Business time.
I mean, I do miss the days when the Zenter had longer hours and it didn't feel like so tight, but that is the constraint with which we work now. So
yeah,
serious business. Well, yeah. So Iron Man, I guess let's talk about how the actual thing went for us. I think generally well. I think everyone's decks did exactly what they thought they would.
I was very happy with how my deck fired.
Yeah.
Though I did not play a single card draw card the entire campaign.
That's true.
I think that's true, yeah.
I had 2 of the put 2 curse tokens in the bag.
Deep knowledge.
Deep knowledge. And then 2 is the double action draw 5 as a group.
Thorough Inquisition or whatever. Thorough
Inquiry?
Yep.
Inquiry, yes.
Yes. So I had 4 cards and none of them got played. Because I was just able to get out all the other Harvey cards that draw cards, like when you're successfully investigate and stuff. And I don't know, like rarely I think did we hurt for cards. Like if anyone was hurting for cards, I was usually able to get you cards without using those events.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
Yeah, it was weird because it feels like that should have been the venue for them, but it just kind of didn't work like we thought.
Yeah. Just how it played out. Yeah,
and how Eureka works with them. Oh, Eureka in Harvey. Oh.
Yeah, you did use Eureka for me at least once or twice.
Yeah.
That. Yeah, I was really happy how Daryl. I had obviously played Daryl before, but this is the first time I really tried to like abuse him. So I had upgraded old keyring and shed a light going on, and then recursion for those things. So like I included other cute stuff in my deck, like to do like clue dropping. But at the end of the day, all I really needed were those cards, just old keyring and recursion that, and like I think like Harvey and Darryl were the cluevers, and I think we never really were hurting for clues. We were just kind of mowing through the clues.
Mhm.
There was only one scenario that I feel like my deck didn't fire, and it was the same scenario for all of us, I think.
Yeah,
which we can talk about.
Yeah, I mean, we might as well. Like we always talk about how like in Iron Man, everyone's got that one scenario where you just get shat on and your deck doesn't give you the right cards in the right order, and normally we take turns.
We coordinated this year.
Yeah,
we really did.
All at once, and it was the part one of Heart of Darkness, or Heart of Madness.
Yeah, yeah. Oh man, I think everything that could have gone wrong in that scenario went wrong.
Yeah,
I got so fucking salty. Oh my god, I got so salty. When I just could not pull a token that was less than a -4, or sorry, greater than a -4.
Was that also the scenario though where you pulled the token pull of the campaign?
I was trying to find the picture of that.
Yeah,
because I was so pissy. Oh my god, I was tired. We hadn't had dinner yet. Like, it was later in the day. I was being a little bitch. And
that's where I tucked to a lead in.
Yep. That's Waleed, like after his long study session. Anyway, I can't even remember what test was it for.
So it was a Kaimani test where you can check to get them to discard an enemy.
Yeah.
If you succeed by whatever amount. And it was some enemy that had 1 damage on it and it had 6 health.
Yeah. And I didn't
you looked at it and you're like,
I'm like, I can't do this. I can't do this.
Well,
I have none of my shit. I have none of my boosts. I don't have any help. I can't commit anything. I hate everything. I was being real pissy. And then I reached in the bag and I pulled.
And then you looked down all the fail tokens and you're like, none of these matter. So I might as well just pull. And you're like, the only way I can do this is the Elder Sign.
Which normally is the fastest way to make sure you won't pull the Elder Sign, but the universe gave me one in that moment. I pulled the Elder Sign out and I fell out of my seat. I was so taken aback by it.
And I yelled, and like Nick jumped out of his seat. He's like, what's going on? And like you fall out of your seat. He's like, what happened?
Yeah. It was definitely the most epic pull of the day for me.
I like how we have 2 pictures of Sean on the points in the con for very different reasons.
Yeah.
What's wrong with me?
Let the Seans hit the floor. Let the Seans hit the floor.
And that scenario is also where Justin, you drew Where's Pa into the rampaging show off. I want to say the second upkeep of the game.
It was the second upkeep of the game.
Oh, that just was the indication from there. Like it was
basically once we got from part 1 even into part 2, it was just a slog for me. I drew that, so that just took everything I had.
Yeah.
And then I could barely keep the weapons going. I mean, I did what I could, but boy, did it bog down.
Yeah, and I wasn't set up for damage yet, because I was kind of ancillary anyway. But like I'm pretty good about not going to Nick and being like, Nick, you need to do this with the game. And that was one moment where I was like, all right, let me be real with you. If you ever do another weakness where it pulls an enemy from the deck, be a decent person and make sure it says non-elite. Thank you.
Yeah.
And I believe I was not the only one. I think Ecthelion got hit by that as well. I think maybe a little later on, but it's still cumbersome. But yeah, that was.
I think MJ did too, if I'm remembering correctly.
Yeah, that turned into just all I did for a good chunk of the first part of that scenario, and I'll end up fine. But boy,
it was a rough first half of that game.
Yeah.
We did not have a handle on it at all.
I think a few people here watch God, what's it called? Rick and Morty. There's that one episode where like, come on, it'll be like 10 minutes and they get back to the spaceship and it's like, I was not in control of that situation.
And then Morty's like, what?
Yeah.
And then they both
I
cry.
almost died. Yeah, they're like, ah!
That's definitely how it felt.
Why are you this
gosh.
way?
So I've got a picture up on screen now. One of the cool things we were able to get printed is we had a big partner death tracker for the room. So we had a big poster board out there with gravestones of all of the partners, and every team, or presumably every team, got up and helped us track all the different partner deaths, and we filled this thing out. So it was really cool to see it at the end of the day.
There is a video out there, if you want to actually take the time to look at all of this video in the album, where we scroll through all of it from top to bottom, bottom to top. You can hit pause to look at the different things, and it's in there alongside the book as well. We videoed all the entries in the book so that you can also, again, pause and read the stories.
One of my favorites is someone said a very foggy hug from Dad.
Yeah,
that
one right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was fun. Yeah, and we ultimately pulled out our desired resolution. We did use plot armor, obviously. So
yeah,
Nick, I hear you
we did
screaming
draw
at us from
Kinsler
here.
again in the campaign.
That's right. That's right.
We ended up,
plot armor was needed.
We ended up. There were, how many of the partners were alive at the end?
We
I think
lost
one,
like 2 or 3.
right?
Because it was Kinsler who goes off and does her thing, and then Cookie,
she
maybe?
runs up. Cookie died. I had Cookie at the end, and he got that treachery that attaches damage, and I got 2 on him. And I'm like, I think this was during Heart of Madness Part 1, so I'm like, sorry, Cookie, you're gonna have to shuffle off the mortal coil. So
yeah, I need to run through that because I want to take my playmat from it, and I'm actually going to X out which ones, and maybe when it happens. So I'm going to ping you guys for a reminder on that. But yeah, we had Kinsler and one other, it sounds like, were all that survived.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a close shave, but we did get out. We got our R1. We got the win.
Our investigators made it out.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. The main characters are here. It's fine.
Just stepping on red shirts on their way out, you know?
Pushing him off the plane.
Yeah. This plane needs to lose 160 to 250 pounds. Or else we're gonna die.
Hey Dyer, how much do you weigh?
Approximately 195 pounds.
Wow.
Right in the middle, you say.
But yeah, so Iron Man went really well. It was was successful. A lot of people finished way faster than we did, and sometimes I know we're running a con, but also sometimes I'm like, what? How are you guys playing so fast? Oh, also, we have to talk about judging Justin, which was possibly the best moment that was captured from our Iron Man play, and is now an emote on our Discord server. If you'd like to use it, please do. I can't even remember what was happening here, but Brian got the perfect moment of Justin going,
Yep.
All right. Well, then of course we retired back to the hotel. We played some party. Oh wait, go ahead.
Sean, before you do that, did you, because we kind of jumped in, we had the 3 or 4 cosplay ones too?
Oh yeah, totally. Yeah, so we did have people throughout the con come in costume. I don't know, maybe someday we'll be ambitious enough to like do something formal with it. And we had Caitlin in her Cthulhu get up. And we had oh yeah, that's right. Brady was
just leave it, let it sit for a second. Let it sit. So this in the front right, this is my brother. Shows up and he goes, "Hey, yeah, you like my costume?" And I go, "Yes," not getting it right away, and then it hits me later.
I just
that
thought he was
he
being a
is-
hipster, like coming in with a Burger King crown on, like.
Yeah, and he has like this fun book he made, kind of this Necronomicon looking thing. And no, he's the king in yellow.
Yes, he sure is.
Like, okay,
Yes, he sure
I'll
is.
I'll give it up for that.
And then we had I think Anti Markovnikov and Cold Toes as the classics, Ghoul Priest and Jenny.
Yep.
And shout out to Cold Toes. Poor Cold Toes.
Oh,
Broke her wrist
pulled
on
the
the
tentacle.
first day. Pulled the tentacle. Broke her wrist
Yeah.
on the way to the con.
Yeah.
didn't even get in the door.
But still
And
showed up.
She then stuck around.
Yep.
And sorry, didn't break her wrist. She broke her arm, both her radia and her
Yeah.
ulna.
Oh,
both.
right.
Yeah, she had surgery a couple days ago. She posted on the what do you call it, Discord. But she's doing well.
Isn't there a name for that kind of injury?
Yeah. So it's called a foosh, which is fall onto outstretched hand, which is like you fall and you put your hand out.
Mm-hmm.
It's called a foosh.
Got it.
And it's that type of injury. There's different names for breaks, but that's the type of, you see lots of foosh injuries because that's what you do when you fall, is you fall onto your outstretched hand.
That is definitely the involuntary reaction for sure.
Yep, 100%.
So sad that it's bad for our bodies.
Yeah. Yep. Suck.
Yeah. So then we retired back to the old hotel. We had the game room. We had small room, which was very cozy and packed and loud, and we had party games and Malort, and someone brought some really nice whiskeys as well, so that was fun. Did we? Oh yeah, okay, hang on, I'll show this one. We got Scott doing Malort here.
Day after, but she had the
Okay.
I own I am that was a mistake. I wouldn't classify myself as like diehard, but I love when people are willing to like architecture to it.
But it's straight paint. We got to the.
You know what? It's not regular. It's not terrible. It's not good.
I like Scott.
But it's not like the people who are on the forum.
Okay, yeah. So for anyone who's unaware, Malort has become Malort has been a meme in like Illinois for a long time apparently, and through the Illinoisans that attend BusterCon, it has now become a meme within BusterCon. So Malort is this like extremely bitter liqueur spirit type thing. And if you're not that into bitter stuff, apparently it's a big wallop to the mouth, and like it's kind of memey in that people are like, haha, Malort, it tastes like death and sadness, like that sort of thing.
I didn't think it was that bad.
Yeah,
it's nothing I would drink all the time, but I also drink really peaty scotch. So,
yeah, like there's scotches that are way worse than that. Like it tastes like burnt tires. But
yeah, and then our Danish friend Morten brought some spunk, and many jokes were made on that. I'll let you make them yourself. And of course,
I tried that salty licorice that he brought, and like I had the Malort, and I was like, oh, this is like not bad, blah blah. I got about 20 seconds of chewing that licorice, and I legit had to go spit it out. Like that was,
it was.
I
intense.
could not finish that. Yeah,
it was intense. So of course the return of Arkham Dream Crush. We had some good games this year. I think I only got to play one, so I think it was it Lola was kind of the winner out of that first round. Am I remembering correctly?
I think so. I feel like we always get one dirtbag character a year. Last year's dirtbag Lita. This time was Safina.
Yeah,
started out
Safina
with the catchphrase of "keeping it greasy," and continue that theme from there. So
yeah,
so
it's
good.
The new legend.
Fun fact, Sean, if we ever play this in between, because I have a copy with Arkham in it, Star Wars, and Game of Thrones. This week I actually added Lord of the Rings.
Ooh.
So
I'm into it.
Can mix and match fandoms, or just do Lord of the Rings Dream Crush.
Hell yeah. Dream Crush is very fun. I'm always excited to see that show up.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then we drank the place down. Scott started a couple of folks on Star Wars CCG, and then got tired and went to bed and left it to me to finish it. And we didn't. We got through 2 turns. It was too loud. It was too loud and too late to teach Star Wars CCG. But a gracious thank you to, I want to say it was Andy and Squidbeer, if I'm remembering correctly, for humoring us and trying.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that was that. Then we get around to actual Dead CCG Day, where it's acceptable and encouraged to play Star Wars CCG. And Ian, we sure did. Oh, we had one of the best games of Star Wars CCG that I have played in recent memory. I'm trying to find the picture of it here.
It was so much fun, and I'd gotten primed because outside of Dead CCG Day, Scott and I had gotten to play, and it had been probably since like 1996 the last time I played the game. So Scott taught me it anew, afresh, and we had a good game where Darth Vader was in a
driving an AT-AT
walker trying to smash Leia into the snow. Took 3 tries.
I think the card is called Trample.
Yeah.
Yes.
So literally the AT-AT is like trying to step on Leia.
Oh, that was great.
It was...
the game is so ridiculous. That's great. Yeah. And so then Sean and I got to play Dead CCG Day. And it was pretty epic. So for those who haven't played the game, I was playing a deck that was focused on turning Luke to the dark side. I was playing as essentially Palpatine and Vader.
Bring him before me, because there's more than one objective that is focused on that. And and then on my side, I was playing a Jedi training deck where you put Leia on Dagobah with Yoda, and you literally go through a bunch of objectives to clear Jedi tests.
Like 7 turns worth of stuff.
Yeah,
just like hanging out on Dagobah alone.
That deck is mostly solitaire for a little while. There's a little bit of disruption. I went and tried to fuck with Ian on Endor. It went
we had some battles.
Yeah, it went varying levels of okay for me. We wiped each other out a couple times. And then the final battle, Vader got Luke back to the throne room with Palpy. He's dueling him. He's trying to turn him to the dark side. And Leia and crew are able to roll in at the last minute. And I think I won by like 5 force. But like,
yeah, and the funny part is it ended up in a total board wipe.
That's right.
We had this. I think it was a total, almost total or complete, but
it was everyone but the biker scout, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's right. He was delivering drinks.
Yeah. Fucking
so
ended like
epic finale where everyone ends up in the throne room. Emperor dies, Darth Vader dies, Leia dies,
Chewie died. Like it ended
dies.
like fucking Hamlet. Like it was just.
Oh, it was great. It's a ridiculous game, but it's fun.
Anyway, yeah. Another one that was worth mentioning was Compile. A few of us brought that because Ian hooked us up with that one at Gen Con, and that one's fun to play. I really like that
one.
Game.
I need to play a few more times because that was really fun. I played with Nick, and yeah, fantastic. I heard it hyped up, and I was like, "Oh, is it going to be that good?" And I played it. I was like, "Wow, yeah, no, this is excellent."
If you have not played it, go play it. Go buy it. It's $20. Get the expansion, which is like another $5.
Worth it.
It's awesome. The cards are beautiful. Replayability is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Support the designers and so forth. We don't get anything for it. We have no horse in the race. It's just we all love it that much.
Not a sponsor, just a good product.
Exactly. So then I think on Dead CCG Day we had our game of Twin Suns. So the seeds we had been planting all weekend, where every time I would go up for a drink, I would like also buy a Star Wars Unlimited pack, and most of them were cards I already had. So I would just like throw the rest of the pack at Ian and be like, "Oh, Ian, it's there, it's fun, build your collection." It finally came home to roost. Ian, you went and bought the set 2 starter decks eventually, right?
I did, yeah. So it was not limited to Dead CCG Day. Yeah, it was kind of you were playing a Palpatine long game, really. And I think it was like it probably was Thursday or Friday. You bought me a booster pack, and those were like my first unlimited cards, and got the first taste. And it was all over from there. Like I had played for the first time at Gen Con with y'all playing Twin Suns, and I really liked it, but I'm like, I've been to enough Gen Cons to know you get excited for a game, you buy it, and then you come home and you never play it. So I'm like, I'm not gonna buy it.
Wise.
So I just let it sit. And then come to BusterCon, we play a bunch of unlimited throughout at different times. And yeah, it just takes complete hold. I buy the 2-player set, and it's just, yeah. It has its full hooks in me now.
We were talking about it earlier. The 2-player, the premier version of that game is good. It's fun. It's quick. It's got a lot of things going for it that make me like it. But Twin Suns is so fun. And now that I know how to play it correctly, it's going to be even funner.
Yeah.
Scott, I guess that's your story to tell.
Yeah, so we played that Twin Suns game, and I had fun. I was this like weird slow control deck, which was really great because it came to this climactic ending where we're very close to knocking someone out, but everyone's maneuvering because we were playing under the assumption that once you knock somebody out, the game ended. But the truth of the matter is that triggers the end of the game, but you finish the whole round, like all the turns and everything. So you could possibly knock 2 people out or whatnot, and then you're still competing and all that stuff. So that would have changed the game completely. And I remember like a turn or 2 before the end, I still had both my heroes that I hadn't flipped, and you guys were mentioning that a bunch, and like everyone had pretty full boards, and then I super laser blast and just wiped the entire board. And I just remember you and Nick going like, "Oh!"
Yeah,
it's like just the math. All the math got thrown out the window. Yeah, it was pretty crazy. We were all sitting around like between 6 and 8 health, I think.
Yeah,
and just
it was one good strike away.
Yeah.
Ian, so we had enough interest in Twin Suns that we ended up splitting into 2 tables. So I never got the debrief on how your Twin Suns game went.
Oh yeah, so I was playing against Brian and Jeremy, and so
we paired you off with Jeremy Zwern. Sorry for that.
Yeah, once we sat down, both Brian and I knew what the end result would be. So it was more about the journey than the destination. It of course ended in Jeremy winning, but it's kind of a close game. Yeah,
he does that.
It was fun. Yeah, it was fun. It was fun though. I think he was probably going a little easy on it. A nice guy. But yeah, it was fun. Got more and experience there, and yeah, I don't know what it is about Unlimited because I really didn't think it was going to be a game I liked because I like weird game mechanics and like kind of super like out there, but I think what I've learned is I like different things from competitive games than my cooperative games.
True.
Like for competitive card games, I want it to be fast. I don't want to drag it out. And I'm really a sucker for the you go, I go type mechanics, just trade actions back and forth. Like it just makes it so much better than having to just watch someone else just spill out their cards in front of you. So
this game took some of the best stuff from Star Wars Destiny. I think I've talked about it on the podcast. They each do their own thing. I still play Destiny. I think they're distinct. They're different types of fun. But boy, did it take some of the really good stuff and then take it in a different direction. It's so good.
Yeah, I've heard some people refer to it as kind of like greatest hits of various competitive card games, and I think that's true. Like it's really, and some of the stuff is like I think they do a good job of like putting the theme in cards. Where I'm like, oh, that's just a basic like effect, and then I'm like, oh, I get it, like how it ties into the theme. So it's pretty cool.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think. Is that Nick had the LOTR TCG around as he often does.
Yeah. We did play a game of that. I was victorious. Finally won my first.
What deck were you playing with?
He let me play with his dwarf deck, which of course that's probably his best deck.
That's definitely I don't think by any malicious intent, but certainly I can attest to the fact that dwarf bullshit is the thing that he played the most back when we played that game together. So it's certainly what he's most comfortable with.
I just love I'd play like 5 attachments. I paid a grand total of 1.
They're all fucking free. Why are they free? Fucking dwarves.
It was great. I was behind most of the game, and then I sprinted 2 or 3 locations at the end to win because dwarves are natural sprinters. So.
Very dangerous across short distances.
I saw that some people also had a couple, or at least a game of Final Hour was played. There was some Galaxy Trucker played as had been promised, so more people know about how fun Galaxy Trucker is.
Final Hour, eh? Wish I could get my hands on a copy.
You know, what's going to be funny is someday when it is actually scarce somehow, and we're all going to be like, what the hell happened here?
How possibly? And so that was BusterCon. We closed it up at the end of Dead CCG Day. We saw Scott off early because he had important business to get to and luggage to lose.
Oh, also, when I got to the hotel, my reservation hadn't been made.
Oh, that's right.
That's right.
Yeah, so luckily they had open rooms, but it was just an absolute dumpster fire of a... Yeah, but everything else went okay, I guess.
And then we closed it on down. Nick stuck around for a day, so I got to see him the next day. We played Millennium Blades, which was pretty fun. And I will recommend that. I don't know if we will ever get it together in the same room where we can just play whatever. But if that ever happens, Millennium Blades is something I think y'all would enjoy. It's a board game about being a card game player.
I've heard of such a thing.
It's pretty great.
So, like,
it's pretty great.
The Sims, but my life.
Yeah, so it's essentially a deck building game, but you anyway, we're not doing Tentacle time. So yeah, BusterCon, it was great. Thank you to everyone who came. Thanks to everyone who said hi. Thanks to everyone who helped us run things. I'm gonna run through a small list off the top of my head. Sorry if I forget anyone, but we had Chad, head librarian, obviously. Big thanks for helping running all the multiplayer stuff. Big thanks to the LARP guy or Josh for doing all of the coordinating for Iron Man teams. Always making sure that goes off without a hitch. Aaron Thoth ran, or at least was a lead on the big charity blob again, so that went off really well. Anyone else you guys can think of?
Thanks to just everybody who helped watch the front desk for us. A few different people there. That was helpful, even if it's just a set eyes, so we don't have to constantly be looking up to see if someone needs help.
And thanks to the Arkham devs, to Duke and Nick and Waleed, who were there the whole time. Like, they're the whole time playing, participating, talking to people, signing shit. Like, it's a treat. We have such a privilege that we are located where we are, and that it's easy that they are accessible and willing to play with us. So it's always really cool to have them at our stuff.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it was a good time. A good time was had by all. Oh, sorry. Go ahead, Justin.
Oh no, I was going to say I think it was a great time, and then before we roll into Tentacle time as a follow-up time, because I keep saying time, would you like me to take the next part?
Oh yeah, go ahead.
All right, and others can chime in as needed. Before we get to Tentacle time, we do have an announcement we need to make. I won't bury the lead. The announcement is that we are going to be taking a break. We've been running ourselves a bit ragged, keeping pace with the podcast, streaming content, dissonant voices, managing the Discord, and planning and running a con.
It was a lot for 5 people, and then we lost one.
Yeah, and I know those of you who've seen us in person kind of see it, and some of you have asked about it. We have talked about this more. If you go back, there's a summer 2023 announcement, it's called. We talked in depth more about the same reasons that we're experiencing now last year, so we won't belabor that point. If you go back and listen to that, you'll understand a little more about the why.
Yeah. I mean,
But
the big thing is we knew we needed a break, and
Yep.
ultimately the break that we planned for ourselves was a bit short, and it was our first time actually kind of acknowledging like, wow, we need to step away for a second. And the game keeps on, and we have so many plates spinning and so many things that we kind of expect of ourselves to do each year. So we had basically a month off, and then we were right back into the same stream of things.
Yep.
So we want to do it right this time, so it doesn't feel so we feel like we got a proper break, basically.
Yeah, and you all have heard us talk about mental health and just general well-being. We're doing that for ourselves here. We're going to take a break that as of right now is of an indeterminate length, because we just want to refresh, recharge, and then reassess. So we're not going to lock ourselves into anything.
Yeah, we're kind of following our feelings at this point.
Yeah. That said, we're not going away. We'll still be around in Discord. We've still got content slated through the end of 2024, so a content break jumps up in 2025. So we are around, but we're going to be on a break.
We'll probably be a little bit active in or less active in Discord, but still ping us, still say hi. We're around. We're here.
Yeah. Super important to note though, because the timing of the break is indeterminate, and when we're doing it, I know this will be disappointing for people, but it's the right move for us. Is we will not be doing a BusterCon 2025. The amount of time it takes to plan and execute on that would not afford us time to actually take a break the right way. And so
and we don't want people to be wondering and not be able to plan, and put us on a short timeline, put you on a short timeline to plan it. Like, we're trying to get better at this, and 2025 is just not going to work well.
Yeah, so we'll miss you all, but it's the right move, so we have to do it. In addition to taking the break, and then we won't have that going on, and there'll be a bit of the content break. We are, despite that, going to be keeping our Patreon going. We talked through this, and there's really two reasons for that. Is one, with Patreon no longer really being tied to just pure content creation, and where we've moved beyond the main, like the only thing we do is a podcast.
We're so far beyond that point now.
Yeah, that made sense. And then there are still many benefits to being a patron beyond just supporting when a podcast comes out. We've got our access to our patron-only Discord channel, Dissonant Voices access in the Arkham Cards app, discount on merch for some tiers, among other things. So we are going to keep that rolling. But if us taking a break changes the value proposition for you, and you want to reduce or stop your support during the break, we 100% get it. We don't fault you for that. Do what's right for you. If you like to continue to support us, we super appreciate that as well. But basically, do what's right for you.
Yeah. No love lost. It's totally fine. Like, everyone's money is valuable. We appreciate the support we get, but everyone's gonna make their own decisions. So.
Yep. And I think the last part is, this is a break. We do intend at some point to end the break, and we'll let you know when that is ahead of time. Always feel free to reach out to us if you have thoughts, questions, anything. Might just be a bit delayed in our correspondence now. But yeah, we love y'all, and we want to be able to not have us burn out.
Oh yeah.
So that's what this is for.
Yeah.
Guys, anything else?
Yeah, I mean, that's the other thing is that, obviously, implicitly here, the paradigm that we have currently is not like sustainable. So, I know this is kind of an unsure thing, and it's kind of sucks that we just don't even know the details of what to expect and when to expect it. But I think it's safe to say that there will be a paradigm shift one way or another at the end of the break. So be prepared for that, I guess. But it's good. Your mom and dad still love you, champ. Sorry, I'm being silly because I'm uncomfortable. But that's
You'll see
yeah.
on the weekends. Yeah.
You know what? You were uncomfortable. You were uncomfortable, but you made it look good while you were doing it.
But yeah, and I mean it's a tough thing because we obviously love what we do here. But this absolutely, as Justin has said, is the objectively correct decision for us at this juncture to get some breathing room and some time. And man, I mean, one of the biggest things for me is that I don't play much Arkham anymore compared to what I used to. And part of that is just life being busy. But, you know, I never personally, and I won't speak for any of you guys, but I never want to lose my identity as a player first. I love that Mythos Busters has grown and become what it is, and the community that we've been able to cultivate is fantastic and something I'm immensely proud of. But I never wanted it to become about us as opposed to being players in the game, and that's kind of something I need to reconnect with because my personal relationship with Arkham has a lot of unsexy Mythos Busters business in it right now, and that's we're just going to take a little bit of break and find our love again.
Yeah.
So yeah.
All right.
Excellent.
Well, now let's go back to the fun stuff.
I know.
Time.
Now let's round it out with a little bit of Tentacle time, and the last one we'll do for a while. Scott, what's grabbing you?
I mean, I started looking at Star Wars Unlimited. Not sure if I'm gonna here's the thing. I really enjoyed Twin Suns.
Sure.
And then I came back to Edmonton and I looked up my local group for it, and in my city of over 1 million people, there's 120 people that play. And the one store that really supports it is about a half-hour drive from me, and I'm just like,
yeah.
I mean, maybe I'll see, but
sure. Well, we will always have decks for
you. Have an opportunity to build a community.
Yeah, go ahead and take a break from Mythos Busters.
We just discussed this. Oh, good. Unlimited Busters coming in January 2025.
Oh boy,
Maz Kanata Busters.
Yeah, solo Scott show. Yeah, I've also, I mean, one of the games that I do have a community for here is Magic Commander, which is basically Twin Suns, but Magic, the 4-player version. Yeah,
actually been flattered and impressed that you described it that way.
Oh, well, I
mean, as opposed to Twin Suns trying to be a commander like.
Well, it is, but I mean, it whatever. Anyways, it doesn't matter. But yeah, just building decks for that. I'm building a pretty sweet Frodo deck. I've been loving the Lord of the Rings set came out a couple years ago, and I'm still in love with it. And I just constantly want to just look at all the cards because it's Lord of the Rings and it's beautiful. And like, there's some Magali art in there, and it's amazing. And yeah, so that, and trying to think of what else. No, that's pretty much it. I'm just really taking a break myself from a lot of things.
Yeah.
So
yeah, space to breathe is good. Ian, how about you? And you can feel free to talk about Star Wars Unlimited for the whole time if you want.
I mean,
I won't stop you.
I kind of spoiled it already, but Unlimited, been delving hard into it, bought a bunch of booster packs. Justin was kind enough to send over some of his cards that he had extra or no longer had use for, so my collection has grown substantially, and introduced my son to the game. He loves it.
Ooh, that helps.
He's all about it, and it's like, yeah, so
that helps a lot.
He's like saying the other day, it's the best game. We need to play again. So yeah, and yeah, it's just hitting for me. I'm even going to go to some of my local game store events. They're going to have the pre-release for Twilight of the Republic. I'm going to go, which is a big thing for me. I never go to these game store events, so I'm planning on going. So yeah, it's a whole thing. And since Twilight of the Republic is coming up, you'll be happy to know I started watching Clone Wars.
Yeah!
Finally. I've watched 3 episodes so far. Yeah.
How are you doing? Are you just like raw dogging it beginning to end?
Just raw dogging it.
All right, that's what I did. And
I'm enjoying it so far.
I promise it gets, even if you're enjoying it, I promise it gets so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah,
They're
You just got to stick with it. There will be such good payoff.
Hmm.
And there are really good single
couple
episodes
characters
peppered.
who I've
sorry,
There's
go ahead,
already a
Ian.
couple of characters I've seen who I'm like, oh, I think they're going to show up in Unlimited. So
Yeah, 100%. And there are good episodes peppered throughout the first couple seasons, but it doesn't get like consistently good until you kind of get past that point. But yeah, no, like once you get past that point, it is some very good Star Wars.
nice.
And then you'll flow into Rebels, and between the two of them, there are still some of the best moments of Star Wars I have experienced in them.
I'm on season 4 of Rebels.
I am looking forward to Rebels. Yeah.
Yeah, Rebels was really cool because it starts out when it starts out, it feels very this is a kid's show, Star Wars. And I know Star Wars is always kind of meant to feel that way a bit, but it felt very this is a kid's show. But it graduates from that very quickly and just becomes like good Star Wars.
Oh, there's just Sean, there's two different moments that I'm waiting for you to get to for us to talk about. And even just thinking of them here, I have actual chills going up my neck.
I've hit some really cool moments that I will not spoil for anyone because when you don't see them coming, it's just like, oh, my nerdgasm.
Yeah, I'm excited. I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, open that Pandora's box, playing Unlimited, built my first Unlimited deck, which is like a Ray deck building up Chud. So I was telling Scott about I have Moisture Farm there that I buffing Moisture Farmers and using them. And it's fun. It's fun.
Do a lot of healing in a Ray deck.
Moisture farming is happening.
The joke behind this, I mean, we've probably discussed it before, but I have a Star Wars CCG deck that is moisture farming. It's my little pet deck. It shouldn't work. It is a terrible mechanic, but I love it, and I've managed to put a deck together for it. So for Ian to tell me that has now moved into Star Wars Unlimited. Oh boy, I might have to look. I might have to look at Star Wars Unlimited and just
for moisture farmers.
You know what's really funny, Scott, is the mechanics are very analogous because like moisture farming in the CCG is a lot about like positioning and retrieval.
Yeah,
moisture farmers are just a little 2-drop that heal. They have no attack. All they do is heal. Like that's it.
Yeah. So that's what it makes it funny because with Ray, I actually give them attacks, like hitting with 2, but also healing at the same time. So it's hilarious. Some trained moisture farm.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, lots of Unlimited. That's gonna be. Other than that, I got a shipping notification for Mass Effect the board game.
Ooh, I will be anxiously awaiting what you think about that.
Yeah, I'm excited.
That's when I could actually get the kiddo to play with me. Normally when I whip out a board game that has more than like, 2 or 3 minis, like, everyone starts rolling their eyes, but that one would get to the table.
Yeah.
So the only question I have though, Sean, about Star Wars Unlimited and moisture farming is, do they have Ardon Vapor Krell?
Oh, unfortunately not yet.
Oh, he's not in the game yet.
No.
Okay.
I hear he's coming soon though.
That's right.
Yeah, okay. You guys may notice him
that's one of the most popular asks. So
yeah,
he's got to pop soon.
He's a key character from when the camera panned across the room in Jabba's palace. If you just freeze the frame just right.
Oh, the Jabba's Palace expansion of the CCG was so wacky. Like every third character was plotting to kill Jabba. It was great.
Yeah.
Justin, how about you?
I'm trying to think because I know BusterCon takes up time for all of us, but it takes up a lot for me, especially. Let's not be trying to one up in this group, but just not spend them.
You've had a much longer wind down than the rest of us on that.
Yeah. So that's been my main thing, shipping lost and found stuff, and but in between there, haven't actually been playing much, but Steph and I just finished our annual watch through of the Harry Potter movies. We do that kind of as it hits fall. So just finished that last night. I mean, that takes a good chunk of time, but it's also time I don't have to be thinking as much.
They are cozy little fall movies, aren't they?
They really are. They are. I I don't want to give too much detail about this, but I think it is worth mentioning. So at BusterCon, we did get to play a game with Jeremy that it's one of his own design, Greek mythology based, and I don't want to say anything more about the mechanics again in case he wants to, depending on what he does with it. But if we pushed him very hard that he should absolutely do something with it, and if he does, we will promote the ever loving crap out of it on here because it was insanely fun. And I'm not just trying to say that to be a tease, but that's been one of the only other games I've played.
I would love to own a produced version of that prototype.
Yep. So that was fun. And then I've just been kind of moving some of my Star Wars Destiny stuff around in addition to sorting my Unlimited, so that as we clear BusterCon, it can be going into fall doing a little bit of both. Because I've got my whole Destiny library I want to bust out and play, and keep playing Unlimited while we're doing it. And yeah.
Awesome. Well, for my part, I haven't played a lot by way of card games. I got Nightcrawler to the table once for Marvel Champions because I wanted to try that out. His pre-con seemed really fun, and he is. So I'm looking forward to doing more of that in the future. I think the main thing to mention is I've managed somehow to get my wife into Bloodborne. I was able to get her into Elden Ring because she's huge into like exploration games, so like it had that going for it. And then as a result, she got into like the FromSoft combat. And I tried her on Bloodborne after her first run through Elden Ring, but before the DLC came out, and she bounced off it entirely. And I was like, oh, all right, fine. It's fine. But no, tried her on it again. And it took a minute because the game kind of asked different things of you, but the hook set and she is flying through that game. Like she's into the DLC now. She's on the Lady Maria fight as we speak and like refusing my help because she's like, this fight is amazing and I want to beat it. And I'm so proud.
How did last I saw when she was playing, she had just got to I think Martyr Ligarius.
Oh yeah. She did call me in on that one.
Okay.
Because Marty's one of my favorites. He's bullshit with his magic, but he's also great.
Okay. I'm curious to keep me posted on how the Maria fight goes, because as you know, that's the you and I are in opposition on this for our taste of it, but that's the one fight I don't like in Bloodborne.
It's my favorite. It's just such a crazy duel. But yeah, so that's been really good. And then I guess the only other game that I've played that I wanted to mention is I'll say a little bit more about Millennium Blades because it's out there. I got it on the Asmodee store on sale. I think it's still out on sale, so check it out. But you basically it's kind of a deck builder. You're drafting and buying cards. You actually Nick and Kip and I spent the first half hour of learning this game sorting and taping together stacks of money, because instead of just like giving you dollar tokens, it has Monopoly money, and you get like rolls of dollar bills in the denominations, and those are the tokens you use to spend, which was really annoying to put together, but it's actually kind of fun once you get going with the game and you're like actually handing money over to buy packs. It's pretty great. And what happens is you accumulate these cards, and eventually you'll participate in the tournament that is going on. And it's a little mini game of sequencing where you're trying to build kind of engine building, and you're building combos while also hopefully trying to disrupt your opponents. And whoever ends with the greatest score wins that tournament and gets like victory points and whatnot. But the other thing you're trying to do is put together collections that you can sell of the cards you collect. And you do that based on like traits, and like you're trying to pair things together. So what's fun about Millennium Blades is it's got like these 3 different tiers of things going on. And the round in which you plan your deck, put together your collection, buy things, you can sell things on the aftermarket and you get money for it. And then other players can go to the aftermarket and buy those things. That all happens in a timed round that does not give you enough time to amply do them all, especially while you're learning. So like you're sitting here like madly shuffling money around and grabbing cardboard, and oh my god, does anyone have a red creature, like and it's this whole thing. And then you show up to the tournament and I don't know, it's really fun. We had a great time with it, so definitely worth checking out. Millennium Blades. It's a board game about playing a card game. as if we all didn't have enough of it. But
And then the mirror looks back on itself forever and
that's
ever.
right. That's right.
Is the expansion where you start a podcast about the game and then you have to run a convention?
Oh my god! I should fucking pitch that to them. I don't know. Maybe that's just for us. Maybe that's the Mythos Blades expansion. But anyway, yeah. So check that out. Yeah, that's kind of it. I know. We're gonna miss y'all on the break. I hope you miss us. The right amount. You know, I don't want anyone pining. We'll be fine.
Just a little bit of pining.
I mean, if anyone has nice messages they want to send us, we won't say no.
You know, it's fine. And you know, pay attention sometime next year for some kind of communication from us, one way or another, or you know, at the end, at our revisiting of the break. And until then, thank you for joining us for episode 169 of Mythos.
Bye.
Bye.